Another player on the back foot is Magnus Carlsen, who's about to get going against Wesley, so must win with black. It's one of the toughest things at the top level of chess. Wesley, it's glasses off, business time. He's going to start with his king's pawn. Surely that's what he tends to do when he
he's like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, did you see that? It was sort of like he wasn't, he didn't decide what he wants to go with, and then he changed his mind last moment. Like c4, d4, e4, and then he goes for the queen's pawn opening. Keeps it solid.
Keep it simple.
The top players, they're so versatile these days. They play every opening under the sun. And what will Wesley go for? D4 opening does give Magnus a lot of choice. Will it be a King's Indian defense?
Ooh.
Will it be another Nimzo-Indian? Magnus looking for inspiration. He's very rarely in must-win situations, but he's also the king of bouncing back. So tough to call. He goes for e6, something he's been playing a lot today. And it is the Nimzo-Indian.
Nimzo. I mean, he already feels good here. I mean, his record, every time we see Magnus play the Nimzo-Indian with the black pieces, it's been a masterpiece. I mean, like many games I've seen of him just winning on demand with the Nimzo. So if I was Wesley, I probably would have chose honestly anything else, but going to a Nimzo-Indian against Magnus Carlsen.
I was going to say, Tanya, this is very predictable. Queen c2, the most solid in the Nimzo-Indian.
Yes, unlike we saw f3 earlier on today against Magnus. That didn't work. Queen c2 is one of the ways to just keep everything under control so that if black was ever to take that knight on c3, you don't destroy your pawn formation. Magnus keeps it flexible. He wants to keep as many pieces on the board for as long as possible. David, this is going to be a long grind, this one.
Yeah, and on paper that would suit Magnus. Wesley, of course, no slouch in long grinds, long endgames, very solid player, but often in a must-win situation, you don't actually want to go out and kind of burn your bridges too early, go all in. You just keep the game going, keep it going. Your opponent gets nervous a bit later. So Magnus with d6, this last move, he's aiming to play either c5 or e5. He's admitting that he's going to have to trade off his dark square bishop, so he's going to put his pawns in the center on dark squares. That's a very good strategy.
There's also a very good line here that black can play, obviously, with b6, bishop b7. The plan is very simple. You go b6 at some point, but you did mention c5 and e5, which are very playable moves. One very combative line that I do like, especially if you're playing for a win, is b6, bishop b7. You obviously are going to trade with bishop takes c3 at some point. You're going to go knight e4 and f5, and the knight on b8 actually swings around to f6. You also get a rook lift after castling, so rook f6 over to the king side, and you go for mate, actually. It's a very fun line here when you go with the d6 line.
You just made it sound like 0-1 starting from this position.
All fours.
All fours, why can't do anything?
All fours.
So Magnus first starts with the developing move of the knight, also eyeing the other ideas of pushing the e-pawn, but I love what he suggested. Bring that bishop on b7 and start eyeing white's kingside.
Yeah, and Magnus, if he can go for mate, of course he will, but I don't think he would be averse either to a long maneuvering battle. e3 played by Wesley, so showing some hesitation there, but okay, this game, we're only at move 6. It definitely feels like some psychology at play. They're spending a lot of time on their first few moves. Wesley, it's been a while since I've seen him spend 2 minutes on 6 moves in a rapid game.
Yeah, play Magnus like you just like, how does the knight move again? Oh, yeah, okay. It's different.
Actually, talking of knight moves, every time Magnus blunders in one move, it's always a knight fork.
Oh, wow.
It's always a knight fork.
Interesting.
It's just a blind spot. Every player has their blind spots, of course. He has fewer than most, but it is a pattern.
Ooh, and he's going for James' idea, putting that bishop on b7 next. So trying to create those chances on that e4 square. And Wesley, meanwhile, will bring his own bishop to d3 to try to fight for it on his terms.
Yeah, I'm expecting that move. Bishop to d3. And Wesley, though, it's that Magnus effect. Especially when you're ahead, you have something to protect, you start to slow down. He's spending a lot of time in the early stages.
E2.
I think he goes for e2 because bishop b7 runs into some bishop f3 stuff at some point. It's annoying, but here we go. He takes on c3. Let's see if we go for the plan, boys. 94. I'm telling you, listen, this man is going for mate. Queen c2, bishop f. Oh man, you know what? Listen, bro, I'm out of here. I'm out. Can I get paid, bro? Where's my check? Can I get the check now or what? Okay.
James, maybe we bring up a board and you can teach us. Teach everyone at home, teach us here in the studio what black is doing next.
Oh my goodness, he's going to castle and he's going to go rook f6 and over to the king side. That's a general plan. White can try d5 at some point and try to break that up.
Oh.
But yeah, okay, never mind. It's already happened. d5.
So you want to put the knight on d4 as white if black was to capture on d5.
Very nice. Correct.
Yeah, and maybe just very quickly we show the moves. If white had done nothing, I think d5 is a very good move by Wesley. Then black castles, say something like this. Rook f6. You go for checkmate, right? And
b2, right there.
Of course, there will be some tricks.
There's some mate. You get mated in 7 here.
Yeah, you're going to get
in 7.
Checkmated very shortly. So Wesley, of course, didn't want to see that, right?
Right.
Wants d5 instead.
Oh, but did you see Magnus right now? He had a bit of a reaction like he missed d5.
Yeah, I think this is why castles is the move first. I think f5 might have been, obviously, he's Magnus. He can play whatever he wants. But like f5 might have been too early. I do know castle. This is a plan, but maybe the move order obviously matters, because it's d5 early. I'm used to seeing it with castles in this position. But with d5 early, I'm not familiar as much.
And Magnus, I think he might have been move ordered slightly as well, because often you get this type of thing. You kind of force white to play a3 to kick your bishop earlier, and then you trade off.
Oh yeah,
as well.
correct.
So maybe
correct.
you could have had the same thing with having castled too.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
But okay, d5 is a very clever move, and actually it's very thematic in these positions in the Nimzo-Indian. As soon as f5 ever happens, especially in conjunction with a bishop on b7, somehow the coordination gets broken with this type of pawn sacrifice. Just for everyone at home, it might look like white is blundering a pawn, but no, knight to d4 next will hit the f5 pawn and actually aim to land on the e6 square.
And the other problem with these positions is if you don't take on d5 and you think you can push e5 and get a beautiful center, white always has the ideas of retreating that white knight from f3 and then kicking that black knight out with f3. So it just kind of makes a lot of sense for white at the end of this line, despite allowing e5. You're the one who's going to be pushing in the center. You've killed that bishop on b7. You're forcing black's knight to fall back, and you've got full control with f3, e4 coming in.
Wesley, just fantastic start to this game for him. I'm not going to say disaster for Magnus, because obviously still a long game ahead, but not the start he wanted.
I mean, it was very nice. I think he might even sack this pawn. He might just go castles or something, you know, just to, okay, so he ended up capturing.
Wow. Oh my God.
Ooh.
The bar hates it. Is it knight d4? It's got to be knight d4.
Such a strong move, I'm not going to lie. It's a very good move.
And it's
Wesley does it. Cool and calm.
Yeah, there it is. Yikes. So can I go queenies? I don't even want to finish the word there. Queen e7. And he takes queen f6.
Yeah, maybe queen f6, but the whole idea of kind of winning a pawn short term would just allow simply pawn takes d5 now, and the white queen suddenly would be hitting this square as soon as the black queen moves. I don't think Magnus actually has a way of guarding against these threats.
Look at him look away. He don't like this position at all. Yeah, I think castles was probably better than f5. And also, as you mentioned, bishop takes c3 without being provoked was also, I guess, a slight error, inaccuracy, where it was crazy how Wesley figured this out and just played d5 so quickly.
Yeah.
And his positions is just much better already.
Yeah, but it's incredible the kind of difference that happens in chess with just switching up the move order and one inaccuracy of not going shot castle before you push that f pawn. And Wesley obviously understands these positions, immediately gets d5 on the board, immediately destroys Magnus's pawn formation. And Magnus is in big trouble in this one. You know, you've got f3 coming in as well with the queen taking on f5.
Yeah, I forgot
you've got
about
the
that.
knight jumping on e6, attacking the queen and the pawn on c7.
Okay, let's get this off the screen. Let's just go to another board. Let's get a bird's eye view of.
This is big, right? I mean, Magnus could go down 2-2-0 right now.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy to even see. But I mean, Wesley has done it to Magnus before. So I mean, it's kind of not a kryptonite, but it's possible because we've seen Wesley do it before. So it's tough here. Magnus is not looking good in this game, but it's still game left. But it's just not going his way so far.
Yeah. Under 5 minutes as well, David.
Yeah, let's go to that bird's eye view. We will, of course, come straight back to this game. Magnus deep in the tank now, and. Okay, we see a very simplified position between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Maxim Vachier-Lagrave on the bottom right of our screens. That looks level.
Yeah, we're not going there. We'll go over there.
We'll come to that later. Top right of our screens, Vincent Keimer against Levon Aronian. Very tense, but Vincent Keimer's pawn structure looks fantastic, so maybe a small advantage for him. Denis Lazovic hasn't necessarily got an opening advantage against Alarosa Fruja, but a long game guaranteed over there. Action very much on the Wesley so against Magnus Carlsen board, and Magnus down to 4 minutes.
I say we go back there. I say we go back, unless you want to jump quickly to one of the other boards. But Magnus now really taking a long thing. And we're what move is it?
It's move 12.
Move 12.
Bro, he getting cooked on move 12. Like, this is unreal. I can't even believe this. I don't even want to go over there. I don't even want to see this. It's just, that's tough. That's really tough to see.
Magnus doesn't want to see it either. He was looking away from the board for a good 30 seconds, 1 minute there. He looks despondent already.
Yep.
And the thing is, he got everything going on early on, right? He was making all the moves quickly, got that b6 in, got that bishop on a nice spot, jumped in with a knight. You're in a flow, and then suddenly you mix up the move order, and you're in big trouble.
Literally one move.
You mix it up to a point that there's no point. It's a point of no return. And Magnus, he hates his position right now.
He's dejected from the position already. He's dejected. Bishop takes c4, maybe 96. I mean, yeah.
He can't believe it.
He's not happy.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to steer into the skid and accept the fact you've made a mistake and just get on with things. But this is the type of mistake that could already end the game within the next few moves. The white knight is about to land deep in Black's camp there, attacking so many things. Looks like it's falling apart, but Wesley, maybe the downside for him is he has too many tempting moves.
Yes.
Problem of plenty.
Oof.
Correct.
And I love the idea that you're suggesting. It's something that you were hinting at earlier. Get that knight to attack the queen. Knight e6 would be a big move by Wesley here. He's taking his time. Also, the choice of picking up that pawn on c4 as well. And I think Wesley's jumped in with a knight.
Where do you go? Queen c8.
And you pick up the g7 pawn with a check.
F5 pawn?
F5 pawn, everything falls apart.
Hey, we got to get this on the screen, y'all. This is a family channel, okay? This is a family channel. We got to get this off the screen. This is not good. Knight g7, knight f5 to follow.
This might be a miniature, James.
That's insane to see it I mean, usually you see it the other way around here. So Wesley in good form here. Magnus just learning the first game and was not able to regroup in this one. I think he just, literally just missed up, one move, maybe two with the bishop c3 early. Usually you wait for a3 there, but he had the right idea. It's just the move order. That's so crazy.
But you know, you can never write off Magnus.
Correct.
We've seen him come back from the dead so many times. And yes, knight takes pawn forces Magnus's king to lose all rights to castle for the rest of the game. But David, is it still too soon to call this a Wesley win?
Oh, I know we were talking about guess the move earlier, but I would be talking about guess the move that Wesley wins.
Okay, look,
I don't know. It just looks so good for white. I don't even know why Wesley's hesitating, to be honest. You see a pawn, you take a pawn. Take a pawn with check is even better. And,
But you know, there's something. Okay, so if I'm playing like, you know what, it is what it is. I'll see. Yeah, I was about to say in knight g7, knight f5, there might be king f7, and then when you take on f5, I go knight e5, and then I go rook g8, and I'm just like hoping for a Hail Mary, basically. At that point, he didn't want to allow any of that and say, get out of here now. So now I can probably take on both.
yeah, let's actually show that. Let's jump in because it's a key moment. Either Magnus Carlsen goes down in flames here and now, or he's able to launch some kind of fight back. Just for James's point, knight takes pawn check does force the king away. I'm not sure where you go, but for example, knight takes pawn now, and the black knight does come. You do gain a tempo.
Look at the bar, too. That's crazy. You get this counterplay. Knight moves, rook g8, and like, okay, hopefully you're mated.
Wow, I mean, this is suddenly scary. The black queen can come out to h3.
It might be f3 here, though. Oh, but yeah, queen h3.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh,
there's
Magnus has
something.
gone all bonk cloud on the position. F3, king e7 on the board.
F3, king e7. I mean, I don't know what's in that one cloud right now. I mean, this is
What is happening
crazy.
here?
Knight takes pawn. I guess the king is attacking the knight. He's going to gobble up that pawn, Wesley. Of course he will. Now queen to f8.
Playing quickly. I like it. I like it. Hey, listen, you know, it's not over till it's over.
He's making it absolutely crazy, the position. You know, he was king e7, queen f8. He's hit every single chaos button that ever existed. Wesley keeps it under control, simply comes back with the knight, hitting that knight on e4. c4 is hanging, f5 is weak. I like the control that Wesley's showing right now, also up on the clock.
Yeah, there's no tricks. Nothing. I have to move this knight. I guess I have to. I don't have nothing. Wow, maybe knight g5 with a rook g8 and knight e5. Like, I have to move this knight, apparently.
Oof. Yeah, it looks really difficult for black. After the next move, it will be level material. And yeah, the black king out in the open. White has the bishop pair. White has a beautiful outpost. It's not over, though. He's not going to be material up yet, Wesley, so he still needs to transform that into something tangible.
Correct.
Oh, I keep forgetting that Wesley only needs to draw.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
I forgot about that, too.
He does
I
recapture
forgot
with the
about that.
queen. And Magnus's knight could jump to the center of the board, hit that queen, and I really like what you're pointing out. The queen, it just swings over to the other side, giving a check to that king on e7 after knight e5.
Yeah, Magnus didn't have much choice. Again, reluctantly making these moves. He knows how ugly his position is, but sometimes you just got to get on with things. And that check forces the black king away.
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff. You got b4, you know, bishop b4, bring the bishop to b2. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Bishop b2, get all the pieces out.
You should be getting that app out now, James. Guessing the move.
Guess the moves, guys. Guess the moves. Oh, man. Takes app. Yeah, bishop b2 now, and then bring the rooks somewhere. Oh, yeah, bishop b5 is good, too.
They're coming. The rooks are coming. Black king is in the eye of the storm.
I have nothing.
I'm just saying
No
all the
attack.
good stuff for white here.
No
Where
attack.
is Magnus's play? That bishop on b7 has been blunted. No attack on g2 whatsoever. White is threatening to open up the central lines and get to black's king.
Oh, I was going to go rook g8. That's an instant blunder. Knight f6. Yikes. Of course, the knight. So he lost the last game. So like queen e7, takes. What am I down again? 3, 6.
Level
3.
material.
I'm not down anything? Okay. Let's trade the queens then, Vadal. Come on.
Yeah. Magnus in an endgame, maybe with some chances. If
He
the queen's...
goes for
He
it.
goes for it.
Come off.
Okay. He might feel a little better here as Magnus.
Wow. Wesley was trying to win some material, but Magnus gives up the exchange. And, okay, he's fighting. He's got light square domination. I don't think this is over yet. It looks very nice for white. Rook up for a knight, but I've seen Magnus turn around stranger things than this. At least there's no checkmate. He survived the storm. No miniature. This will not be printed in all the newspapers. Magnus clinging on.
Yeah, Magnus needs one move, right? Bring that rook to g8 and you're a happy camper lining up on the g file. e3 is under attack right now as well. If you give up your light squared bishop, I don't think that's such a great idea because you give this powerful piece to black that cannot be challenged ever. There's stuff to fight for here.
Yeah. Definitely stuff to fight for. He was actually forced to give up material.
Oh.
We should mention Magnus. He does trade off Wesley. He's going to push forward his pawns.
We saw this, but like I thought black was okay here.
94?
Like, I don't have. Remember, rooks need what class? Oh, raise your hand, chat. What do rooks like? Open files, right? So you need to have open files, and I actually don't really have them right now. I have the C file, but other than that, yeah, A6 is nice because now after rook C1, well, at some point we can play C5. Basically, is our idea. Try to block these rooks here as much as we can. This is good. I mean, he's okay. He's fighting back.
And Magnus made a face as well. He was like, oh, it's not that bad. He was like, really? B5?
Yeah.
Maybe the worst is actually
is a good
behind,
move.
right? It felt like Magnus's king was about to get checkmated 10 moves ago.
We definitely thought that.
And here he is, down in exchange, but he's got that extra pawn. He's got a solid bishop on b7, a beautiful knight on e4. It's the best position Magnus has had all game.
Yeah, all game.
Since move 6 or 7.
All game.
Yeah, it's momentum right as well. Wesley might start getting frustrated the longer it goes on this game. Bit of a shake of the head there for Wesley. So
You're right. That's crazy.
Yeah, Wesley doesn't know the bar says it's still completely winning. He's just seeing Magnus get all the counterplay. You know, no piece to challenge that bishop on b7. You can't immediately trade the knights off the board. Magnus is in the fight here.
can't immediately force a draw either, which is going to be annoying for Wesley. Normally, when you're winning, you know that at some point there's an off-ramp. You can just trade off all the pieces, draw, okay, win the match, go home. And
I was just going to say a5 is a move. Oh, it's equal to that. No, okay, recalibration. But a5 was nice. You could take on b5. Move for g3 instead.
This is getting messy now.
Chaos.
There is no rook c1. Takes. Can I take on a6 first? Bishop
You
takes.
could throw in a check as well. I don't know if that's useful or not, but f6 is always there, and then get the rook. Well, don't get it to c1 because of the fork on e2.
Ooh, that's a very timid move from Wesley. So moving his rook to a square that avoids any checks. But what is the white rook doing here? I mean, you're also just offering up this pawn in the near future. If Magnus wants it, very strange decision. Magnus, though, might want to deal with this tension first. Which pawn are you going to capture? Very unclear. Down to 1 minute and a bit for each player. But yeah, definitely the best position Magnus has had all game.
I really don't want to trade rooks here, so he's contemplating that and calculating, of course, as time is getting lower. 2-second increment. He takes.
You just take it back with the rook, and then you want to capture on a6 and trade off a pair of rooks. If Wesley trades one pair of rooks, that eases the tension for him. He first throws in a check, saving that f-pawn.
Okay, where's the black
King
king going?
f7 or e6, he moves forward, and now take that pawn on a5.
Yep. No reason not to.
Takes it. Take back. Rook takes b5. Needs some counterplay.
Wesley wants the rooks off, but this is a valuable pawn. You don't want to allow the black pawns to start marching.
That thing's scary. C and B? I don't know. Who's winning there?
This is a game for all three results right now.
Yeah.
You just can't ride on Magnus. You know, you take on b5, black's rook will at some point enter that a2 square as well once the bishop moves to safety.
Yeah, the bishop moves. I'm not sure exactly where, e4 maybe, and then the rook comes, and okay, Magnus maybe has to speed up slightly, down under the 1 minute mark now. Hesitation.
One thing I like that Magnus did for this game here, and this is just something to learn from as a player too, if you're watching from home, all right, is actually just keep fighting and create chances. And that's what he did here. I mean, this was just busted out of the opening, but you have to find the moves.
And look
you
at that.
have to play accurately.
The bar goes down. Rook a1, but Wesley needs only a draw. He's just trying to neutralize all pressure and all ideas.
Yeah, forgetting all he needs is a draw. That's annoying. Yeah, all you need is a draw.
Yeah, and Magnus not playing the best move, which was to trade rooks, but that would have led the game closer to the draw. So let's ignore the cross. He's taking risks now because he needs to. Magnus must win situation. He needs his rook to combine with his bishop and knight later. The blue arrow appears saying that white should drive this black knight away, but that's not an obvious move. The white king shifting. There's no real entry points for these white rooks, though. Really frustrating for Wesley.
By the way, 30 seconds. You gotta move.
He does make a move. He's coming for the g-pawn now.
I thought that was a good move. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh, rook d5.
h-pawn goes up, defending it, and the c-pawn's about to come up. c5 in the air. Magnus is creating threats right now. And the pressure is on Wesley. I mean, if Magnus survives this, I've seen everything.
Under 20 seconds, Wesley, so who thought we'd be here a few minutes ago? But the black knight jumping back, the black rook can start getting active. Watch out, this white bishop doesn't have too many squares.
He does it, David. Rook b8. You've got to move that bishop to c3, the only square where it stays connected to the f6 pawn.
Now the black pawns are coming.
Because of the time scramble here, Wesley is probably slightly worse in these type of positions here just because of the time pressure. We did see him do this against Jan earlier.
Magnus has been here so many times before. His nerve usually holds Wesley lower on the clock, struggling to find a plan. It brings his rook up the board.
Here we go. Look at the bar change. Unbelievable. That's crazy.
You know, there are all these ideas you've got to watch out. Rook b1, rook h1 if the g2 pawn gets out of the way at some point. And Magnus, is he going to try and step that? He does. He's trying to set that up.
Oh, my goodness.
You take on h3, rook b1 comes in.
And that's a scary move.
Ooh, he
Rook check. He gives up.
Wesley. He's going to try.
That was a sick move. I'm not even going to lie.
He's going to try and get rid of one of black's minor pieces.
Oh,
but
my God.
a mistake. I think you have to eliminate this white rook now. And then you can...
He does it. And this is winning for Magnus. Rook h8. Rook h8 is...
Well, yeah,
no, rook h8. There's bishop on c3. Why is this lost?
Rook b1.
There's
the rook is
G3.
coming down the board.
G3 too. There's G3 and rook b1.
Whoa.
Wesley gives up his rook. He's about to make a new queen. It's going to cost black his rook, but...
Oh my goodness.
Magnus wins.
Magnus could have-
Checkmate.
You can never count the man